In every person's life, there are periods of profound experiences that leave an indelible mark on the soul. The path of self-discovery and spiritual growth is often thorny, and encountering people who cause pain is no exception. Shattered trust, a broken heart, a weakened foundation of self-worth. All of this is not a sentence, but a valuable lesson, a signal sent from above. Every event, even the most painful, carries a hidden message, a key to understanding oneself. If you have been hurt, it means you have gained invaluable experience, realizing your own importance, learning to set boundaries, and understanding what kind of love you truly deserve. However, by returning to the source of pain, you risk reopening unhealed wounds instead of moving towards healing. The human heart is a sacred vessel, storing dreams, hopes, and the very essence of one's being. Its destruction feels like a crushing blow to the fundamental foundations of the personality. But even in this state of pain lies the possibility of growth, a unique chance for recovery and re-evaluation of oneself. Healing is not just a step forward, it is a careful attitude towards the journey traveled, caring for oneself, returning to wholeness and inner harmony. When a person faces betrayal, neglect, or cruelty, it is easy to begin to doubt one's own worth. Tormenting questions arise. What was done wrong? What was lacking? But the truth is that other people's attitude towards you is not an indicator of your value, but a reflection of their own internal problems and limitations. Respect for your healing begins with the realization of this fundamental truth. This means refusing to take responsibility for the actions of others, refusing to measure your own importance by someone else's yardstick. You are inherently valuable, and no one can take away this inherent quality from you. Remember this, and the path to healing will become clearer. The recovery process takes time, and this is perfectly natural. You shouldn't rush, striving to instantly regain your previous well-being. Each person's path is individual, and there is no universal healing schedule. It is important to give yourself space to experience emotions, grief, and self-discovery. This is not a manifestation of weakness, but on the contrary, evidence of respect for your feelings and permission to recover at your own pace. Part of this respectful attitude towards yourself is the ability to listen to your inner voice, that quiet but persistent whisper that suggests your needs. Perhaps you need rest, tears, a letter, or support from loved ones. Whatever it is, believe that your soul knows what will bring comfort and peace. Ignoring this internal signal, trying to suppress the pain, only prolongs the process. True healing comes when you acknowledge and accept your feelings. You may find that recovery requires setting boundaries, even in relationships with loved ones. Creating distance or saying no can be difficult, but it is necessary. Boundaries are not isolation, but protection of your own well-being. Phrases like, "I need time," or "I cannot tolerate such behavior," are a powerful demonstration of your own importance. This is a statement to the world and to yourself that your peace of mind is priceless. Self-care becomes a key aspect of this path. Respect for the healing process implies prioritizing activities and practices that restore mental strength. These can be simple actions, walks in nature, meditation, or communication with people who give a feeling of love and value. It can be keeping a diary, reading inspiring literature, or mastering creative techniques, painting, music. Everything that nourishes your soul should become a regular part of your life. This is how you restore connection with yourself. The path to healing is often inextricably linked with forgiveness, but it is important to understand its true meaning. To forgive does not mean to justify the offender or pretend that nothing happened. It means freeing your heart from the destructive power of anger and resentment, giving yourself a priceless gift, getting rid of the heavy burden of bitterness. Forgiveness is an act of self-liberation, directed not at the offender, but at your own soul. As you heal, your worldview changes. The unbearable becomes manageable, and the scars on the heart become evidence of strength of spirit, not weakness. You begin to appreciate your resilience and learn lessons from what you have experienced. Respect for your healing is recognizing and celebrating even the smallest successes along the way. The return of pain is a natural phenomenon. Healing is not a straight line, and it is normal to experience days when it seems that you are back at the very beginning. In such moments, it is important to remember how far you have already come. Be lenient with yourself. Healing is not erasing pain, but knowing how to live with it, showing strength and grace. The main thing in respecting your healing is moving forward. This is a decision not to allow pain to define or restrain you. You are more than your experiences. You are a person of inestimable value, deserving of love, joy, and peace. Treating your healing with respect means returning to life, to your strength and happiness. As you continue on this path, remember your worth and that you deserve the very best. Believe that every step brings you closer to the inner light that has always been within you. A heart that has survived a breakup does not simply heal, it becomes stronger and more beautiful than before. Allow yourself to go through this process, value yourself, and believe in a bright future. The journey to realizing your own worth is a profound and transformative journey of self-discovery. It's important to understand that this isn't arrogance, but rather an acceptance of your inner significance, regardless of external circumstances or the opinions of others. You deserve respect, love, and kindness. Your life is invaluable and full of meaning. Often we forget our worth because of negative experiences, failed relationships, or societal expectations. The negative attitudes of those around us and trust-undermining actions can sow doubts, making you question your own right to happiness. However, your self-esteem depends not on the opinions of others, but on your own perception of yourself. To realize your worth means to abandon dependence on external validation and turn to your inner world to see the unique and irreplaceable person that you are. Start with self-analysis. Take the time to understand who you are, outside of social roles, achievements, or failures. You are not just your profession or position, not just labels that are placed upon you. You are a person with your own dreams, strengths, emotions, and boundless potential. Look deeper than the surface. Appreciate the depth of your character, your compassion, your strength of spirit, and the love that you give to the world. Sometimes, to realize your own significance, you need to abandon exhausting comparisons. In today's world, overflowing with images and stories of other people's lives, it's easy to give in to the temptation to measure yourself by someone else's standards. However, these comparisons are a dangerous trap that dims your inner light. Another person's success, beauty, or happiness in no way diminishes your own merits. You are walking your own unique path, and your worth does not depend on meeting someone else's standards. It is found in your uniqueness, in your personal history and purpose, which no one can replicate. Recognizing your own worth implies the ability to set boundaries and not settle for less than you deserve. This is not easy, especially if you were taught from childhood to put the needs of others above your own, or to tolerate disrespect for the sake of imagined harmony. However, to truly value yourself means saying no to people and situations that drain you or undermine your self-esteem. This means exiting one-sided or toxic relationships, even if it causes discomfort. Every time you set boundaries, you confirm that your well-being is important, that you deserve respectful and caring treatment. Internal dialogue plays a key role in shaping your perception of your own worth. Listen to your inner voice. Do you support yourself, or do you criticize and scold yourself? Your thoughts shape your reality. When you notice negative attitudes, stop and replace them with affirmations that confirm your worth. Repeat to yourself that you are capable, worthy, and good enough. This is not ignoring shortcomings, but creating a solid foundation of self-respect and positivity for further growth. Understanding your own significance implies accepting your merits and achievements, celebrating victories, both large and small. Often we diminish our successes, attributing them to chance, undervaluing the efforts and talent applied. It's important to take the time to appreciate your achievements, whether it's a professional triumph, a personal breakthrough, or simply getting through a difficult day. Each success is proof of your strength of spirit and abilities. Celebrating these moments is not a manifestation of arrogance, but a recognition of your growing personality. Your environment plays a key role. Some people strengthen your self-esteem, others undermine it. Choose relationships that nourish you, remind you of your worth, and motivate you to grow. The support of loved ones who see and value you helps you realize your own significance. Conversely, disrespectful treatment is a reflection of the insecurity of those around you, not your inadequacy. Realizing your own worth is not a one-time act, but a constant process. Doubts, failures, and problems are inevitable, but each confirmation of your worth, each expression of kindness towards yourself, strengthens your belief in yourself. This is daily work that over time becomes natural and inspiring. Your worth does not depend on achievements, appearance, or the opinions of others. It is internal, unchanging, and limitless. It is the essence of your unique and irreplaceable personality, capable of giving much to the world. Recognizing your worth allows you to live sincerely, pursue your dreams without fear, and demand the respect and love you deserve. Ultimately, realizing your own worth is the highest act of self-love, a declaration of your unconditional value, regardless of achievements or material possessions. Acknowledging this worth unlocks a life that fully reveals your potential, a life shining with joy, filled with meaning and love, which will appreciate your uniqueness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways to break free from internal shackles. It's not pretending the pain didn't exist, but a conscious decision to release your heart from the weight of anger, bitterness, and resentment. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning others' actions or ignoring the pain caused, but regaining control over your own life, refusing to allow others' actions to control your peace, joy, and future. When you're hurt, it feels like a piece of your heart has been taken away, leaving burning wounds with every thought of betrayal. The pain is real, and it must be acknowledged. Forgiveness isn't about diminishing what happened or suppressing emotions. It's about honestly experiencing your feelings, allowing yourself to grieve, and then taking a bold step towards releasing those feelings. This process is directed not at the offender, but at you, on your path to healing. Forgiveness doesn't imply renewing relationships or restoring trust. It doesn't obligate you to allow past actions to be repeated. Forgiveness is an internal process, done for your own well-being. Trust, on the other hand, is earned, and a complete break in relations is sometimes necessary. It's important to distinguish forgiveness from reconciliation. By forgiving, you learn lessons from what happened, without forgetting them. The saying, "forgive but don't forget," is often misinterpreted. Its meaning isn't to harbor resentment or use the past as a weapon against others. The real meaning sit in consciously remembering the experience as a source of wisdom, not constant pain. Forgetfulness makes us vulnerable to repeating mistakes, while memory helps us set personal boundaries and protects our peace of mind. Memory is a reminder of your own strength and the lessons learned from difficult situations. Forgiveness is freeing yourself from the prison of resentment. Resentment is often seen as a protective shield against future pain, but in reality, it becomes a heavy burden, holding us captive to past negativity. Giving up resentment doesn't equate to diminishing the significance of the pain experienced, but simply means that it loses its power over our happiness. Forgiveness returns control over your emotions and life. Many fear that forgiveness will make them weak or be seen as condoning someone else's wrongful behavior. However, true forgiveness is a show of strength. It takes considerable courage to face pain, let go of anger, and choose the path of healing instead of bitterness. It's a demonstration of prioritizing your own mental balance over the desire to cling to pain. By forgiving, we don't excuse the offender, we free ourselves. Forgiveness isn't an instantaneous act, but a lengthy process that requires patience, self-compassion, and time. Relapses into anger are normal. Healing isn't linear. What matters is the desire to move forward, even if in small steps. Each act of forgiveness strengthens our power and puts well-being first. As you free yourself from resentment, it's crucial to benefit from the experience. These lessons are your compass in future relationships and decision-making. Perhaps you've learned to rely on your intuition, set stricter personal boundaries, or value yourself enough to avoid toxic situations. This knowledge is a priceless gift, forged in the crucible of pain, and it's this, not the pain itself, that you should carry with you. Forgiveness is a path to yourself. Often the hardest thing is to forgive yourself. We can endlessly replay events in our minds, regretting words spoken or actions taken. But self-forgiveness is just as necessary as forgiving others. We are all human, and life is a continuous learning process. Treat yourself with kindness, acknowledge mistakes, take responsibility if necessary, and then let go of guilt and self-flagellation. You deserve the same kindness and compassion that you show to others. Ultimately, forgiveness is a gift to yourself, an act of self-love, a choice of freedom over pain. By forgiving but remembering, you pay tribute to the strength spent overcoming pain, while protecting yourself from future troubles. You don't erase the past, but turn it into a stepping stone to a brighter, healthier, and more harmonious future. Choose forgiveness not for them, but for yourself. Choose freedom from destructive anger. Choose to preserve the lessons, strength, and wisdom gained in difficult situations. And, most importantly, choose to protect your peace of mind, remembering what you deserve and never settling for less. Setting clear boundaries is self-care, an investment in yourself filled with deep meaning. It's not about selfishness and alienation, but about respecting your own needs, protecting your inner world, and focusing your energy on what really matters. Boundaries aren't walls that isolate you from the world. Instead, they are bridges to healthy, meaningful relationships built on a foundation of self-respect. Many people avoid setting boundaries, fearing they will appear unfriendly, difficult, or ungrateful. However, establishing boundaries requires no apologies or lengthy explanations. It's an act of self-care, an acknowledgement of your limitations, and a clear signal to others about what you're willing to accept and what you're not. Without boundaries, you risk burnout, resentment, and a loss of connection with your own needs. The first step is recognizing your own worth and prioritizing your well-being. You have the right to protect your time, energy, and emotions. Saying no to things that drain you or taking breaks is not selfish. On the contrary, by setting boundaries, you teach others to respect you. Healthy boundaries foster mutual respect and understanding, the foundation of strong relationships. It is important to remember that everyone's boundaries are unique. What is comfortable for you may be unacceptable to someone else, and that's okay. Your boundaries reflect your values, needs, and limitations. Determine what you need to feel safe, respected, and valued, whether it's limiting accessibility, declining certain requests, or clearly stating your preferences. Your boundaries should serve your well-being. Establishing personal boundaries is not asking for permission or seeking approval. It's a declaration of your own needs for achieving success and prosperity. Initially, this may cause discomfort, especially for those accustomed to self-sacrifice. However, consistency in matters of personal boundaries demonstrates self-respect, affirms your right to kind and respectful treatment, and confirms the importance of your own needs alongside the needs of others. Communicating your boundaries can be challenging, especially if you fear conflict or rejection. However, the key to success is clear and empathetic communication. There's no need for aggression or defensiveness. Simply articulate your needs calmly and confidently. Instead of saying, "I can't help you, I'm too busy," it's better to say, "I'm currently focused on my own priorities, so I won't be able to assist." This approach is respectful yet firm, leaving no room for ambiguity. It's vital to consistently uphold your boundaries when they are tested. Some people, accustomed to your constant agreement, may resist, inducing guilt, questioning your decisions, or ignoring your boundaries. In such situation, remember the initial reason for establishing these boundaries. Don't deviate from your course, and don't succumb to the urge to justify yourself. You owe no one an explanation for prioritizing your well-being. Defining personal boundaries is not an attempt to control others. It's about taking responsibility for your own life. It's impossible to predict how others will react to your established boundaries, but you have complete control over your responses. Consistent disregard for your boundaries by someone may indicate the need to reevaluate the relationship. Surround yourself with people who value your limitations and support your growth. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, not on guilt or manipulation. Boundaries are not a fixed quantity. They evolve along with your needs and life circumstances. Regularly re-evaluating and adjusting your boundaries is a natural process. What was relevant yesterday may be ineffective today, and that's okay. It's part of personal growth. Be open to revising your boundaries to ensure they always align with your values and priorities. Confidently establishing boundaries involves kindness towards yourself. Doubts and guilt are natural reactions when asserting your needs, especially if you're not used to it. However, remember that you're not responsible for managing others' emotions. Your task is to protect yourself. Allow yourself to prioritize your own well-being without feeling shame or guilt. By confidently defining boundaries, you choose an authentic and worthy life. You acknowledge the value of your time, energy, and emotions, and you assert your right to respectful treatment. Create a space around yourself filled with joy, self-expression, and strong connections. By demonstrating your own worth, you inspire others to value you. In essence, establishing personal boundaries is an act of self-love, demonstrating your right to respect and care. There's no need to apologize, make excuses, or feel guilty when protecting your peace. Boundaries are your way of living in harmony with your true self, nurturing your soul and strengthening your sense of self-worth. Trust in higher powers requires humility, patience, and faith that there is something greater than what we see. It's understanding that life unfolds as it should, even in chaos and uncertainty. This kind of trust doesn't mean passivity or abandoning goals. It's aligning your desires with the bigger picture, relinquishing the need to control every step. It's a belief that all of life's events, even those that seem incomprehensible at first glance, contribute to your growth. Life is full of challenges and unexpected turns that can be perceived as failures. In such moments, it's natural to ask questions like, why isn't everything going according to plan? Or, why am I facing difficulties? But every twist of fate has its reason. The universe acts wisely, weaving events in a way that is inaccessible to us, ultimately leading to the best possible outcome. Today's experience, which may seem like a failure, could become the starting point for something greater tomorrow. Trusting the universe means believing that difficulties are not obstacles, but rather stepping stones on the path to your destiny. Fully trusting the universe is not an easy task, especially given our innate desire for order and predictability. Life, however, is full of surprises, and attempts to forcibly change the course of events often lead to the opposite effect. Instead of stubbornly following cherished plans, it's better to open yourself up to new, unexpected opportunities. Trust in higher powers creates space for miracles, allowing you to let go of obsessive desires and accept what destiny has in store. This undoubtedly requires patience, a quality not always valued in our culture of instant gratification. If progress seems too slow and the results are unclear, remember that time is a key factor. The universe doesn't adhere to our timelines, it moves at its own divine rhythm. Seeds that are planted don't always bear fruit instantly, but that doesn't mean they're not growing. Believe that everything is happening in the best possible order, and that delays and pauses are an integral part of the process. Belief in the universe's plan is inextricably linked to humility. Humility is not passivity, but rather a surrender of control and an acceptance of reality as it is. It means doing everything you can, setting goals, acting consistently, striving for growth, but at the same time, leaving the outcome to fate. Humility brings ease and peace to life, a sense of support from a higher power that surpasses our capabilities. Sincere gratitude is the key to strengthening trust in higher powers. By focusing on what we already have, we change our perspective, shifting from a feeling of lack to a sense of abundance. Gratitude is like a powerful amplifier of trust, reminding us of the many times when fate has favored us. Remember the unexpected turns of events when difficulties turned into hidden blessings. These are undeniable proofs that higher powers have always acted in our best interests, even if we didn't realize it at the time. Another important element of trust is listening to your intuition. Intuition is a subtle channel of communication with higher powers, guiding you towards your highest good. Pay attention to subtle clues, premonitions, synchronous events. These are all signs that events are unfolding in your favor. Trust these inner voices, even if they lead to the unknown. Intuition knows what our minds have not yet grasped. Faith is the foundation of unconditional trust. Faith doesn't mean denying reality or ignoring difficulties. Rather, it's accepting the unseen and trusting the process. In difficult situations, remind yourself of the temporary nature of difficulties and that higher powers are constantly working to bring you closer to your goal. Faith is a compass that guides you through uncertainty, allowing you to move forward even when the path is unclear. Trust in higher powers also requires self-compassion. Be lenient with yourself when doubts or frustrations arise from uncertainty. Fear and impatience are natural feelings, but don't let them completely overwhelm you. Acknowledge your emotions and gently return to trust. Higher powers don't demand perfection, but only ask for faith in the grand plan and openness to the lessons that life presents. Every life experience, regardless of its emotional tone, whether joy or sorrow, serves as a stepping stone for your development and improvement. Belief in the wisdom of the universe implies accepting life as a continuous journey rather than the achievement of a final goal. This means finding peace in the present, realizing that everything is happening as it should, even in the face of the unknown. Believe that you are guided, protected, and constantly supported. Trusting the universe opens access to a flow of abundance, love, and limitless possibilities. Fear and doubt recede, giving way to hope and faith. You stop looking for answers to the question, why? Recognizing that everything has its meaning. Freed from these torments, you live a full life, openly accepting it with all your heart and feeling a deep sense of purpose. The universe's plan for you is incomparably grander than your imagination. Trust it, and you will see how life transforms, exceeding your wildest expectations. Putting yourself first is not selfishness or indifference to others. That is the awareness of one's own significance, respect for one's needs, and striving for wholeness, mental, physical, and spiritual, before giving oneself to others. It is an expression of self-love, an understanding that it is impossible to draw from an empty well. This approach lays the foundation for personal growth, emotional well-being, and harmonious relationships. It is an act of self-respect that allows one to express oneself most effectively and sincerely in life and interact with others. At the heart of self-care, paradoxically, lies caring for oneself, even if the world around demands your immediate participation. Life is a constant tug-of-war between family, work, friends, and social expectations. Everyone seeks to seize a piece of your time and energy. But by endlessly putting others first, you risk losing yourself, your goals, and ultimately your sense of self-worth. Constant self-sacrifice is fraught with burnout, accumulated resentment, and a deep sense of dissatisfaction. Prioritizing your own well-being is a powerful affirmation of your worth, your right to love, care, and attention. The first step towards this is learning to say no without remorse. This is not indifference to others, but simply a recognition of one's own limitations. Societal pressure forces us to agree to everything, but this is a path to overload and neglect of one's own needs. Refusing the unnecessary is protecting your time and energy for truly important things. It is an investment in your own well-being and peace of mind. Remember, every yes that drains you is a no to something that could fulfill you. Choosing yourself also implies setting healthy boundaries. They are not for isolation, but for maintaining balance. Boundaries are signposts, defining your attitude towards yourself and ways to protect your own energy. This may involve distancing yourself from toxic people, refusing obligations that do not align with your values, or simply setting aside time for rest. Boundaries are a tool for managing your own life, creating space for self-development and self-care. The more you practice this, the more confident you will be in understanding what is acceptable and what is not. At the heart of the concept of choosing yourself lies caring for your own person. In the frantic pace of modern life, it is easy to forget about your own needs, completely immersed in solving external problems. However, genuine self-care is not just relaxing procedures, such as taking a bubble bath or a massage. It is primarily intentional time, dedicated to nourishing your mind, body, and soul, in order to gain a sense of deep satisfaction and peace. This could be a walk in nature, reading a favorite book, meditative practices, or immersing yourself in a fascinating creative hobby. anything that brings joy and helps restore inner harmony. This approach strengthens emotional resilience, reduces stress levels, and promotes the attainment of mental balance. Prioritizing self-care is an integral part of choosing yourself. An essential aspect of this choice is developing trust in your own intuition. Many of us tend to seek answers and confirmation of our decisions from others, forgetting about the inner wisdom that suggests the best path. By listening to our intuition, we act in accordance with our true desires and goals. Trusting yourself implies respecting your own feelings and instincts, even if they lead down a path that others do not understand. Choosing yourself means making decisions based on your personal perception of what is right, rather than on the expectations or opinions of others. The process of choosing yourself also includes healing from past traumas and abandoning limiting beliefs. Many people live by outdated, often negative, patterns of behavior that instill in them a sense of unworthiness or the need for constant self-affirmation. These beliefs hinder the realization of potential. Choosing yourself involves purposefully healing these emotional wounds, for example, through psychotherapy, journaling, meditation, or other self-help practices. This frees you from internal limitations and opens the way to the life you rightfully deserve. Healing creates space for new opportunities, growth, and self-realization. Self-care is not synonymous with self-sacrifice. On the contrary, putting your own interests first makes you more capable of loving those around you. You stop sacrificing yourself for others, instead building harmonious, mutually supportive relationships. Healthy connections are based on mutual respect and understanding, and prioritizing your own needs teaches people how to treat you. You refuse to seek external approval, finding confirmation of your worth within yourself. As a result, you are attracted to deeper, enriching relationships that bring joy, not devastation. This is constant work on oneself, and small steps are normal. Begin by recognizing the moments when you neglect yourself, gently shifting your attention to your own needs. Notice how you say no, set boundaries, take care of yourself, and trust your intuition. Each act of self-care strengthens your confidence in your own worth, in your right to the attention you so often give to others. Ultimately, putting yourself first is a radical act of self-love and respect for your own personhood. This is the foundation of a life filled with happiness, peace, and self-fulfillment. By choosing yourself, you not only take care of yourself, but you also set an example for others. You teach them to prioritize their own needs, to take their place in life, and to accept love and care. By choosing yourself, you create a life that corresponds to your true self, a life where you can develop and grow without making compromise.